Hey there! Welcome to the Oasis. You ever been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and seen something like this?
Appa, down here!
Or something like this? Or what about something like this? You ever seen something like this and asked yourself, how many animals can bend in this universe? Well, I have. Turns out the answer's not quite so clear, but that's what I want to talk about today. So let's get into it. So, bending animals. How many are there? Well, we just saw 3, and the show has this to say about them.
For earthbending, the original benders were badger moles.
The original firebenders were the dragons.
I learned from the monks, but the original airbenders were the sky bison.
Animals can use 3 out of the show's 4 elements, and based on that trend, you'd expect there to be some waterbending animals, right?
The legends say the moon was the first waterbender.
Wait a second. The moon? That's not an animal. So this show has 4 elemental powers and 3 elemental animals? That's weird. Personally, I think the way that this is structured demands that there be an animal that can waterbend. And I think the show all but tells us what animal that is.
The koi fish!
If the moon is a waterbender, and the moon is a koi fish is a waterbender. Pretty sound, right? If that's not enough to convince you, then what about this scene?
That night, beneath the full moon, he brought me to the oasis and placed me in the pond. My dark hair turned white. I opened my eyes and began to cry, and they knew I would live.
I don't know about you, but to me, this looks an awful lot like this. I'm suggesting that koi fish are the original waterbenders and that the moon and the ocean spirit became koi fish because of their affinity with waterbending. And I think the UA was saved with the healing power of waterbending. Considering the koi fish as the original waterbenders brings our running total to 4. Now the next animal I'd like to consider is one that we see in every single episode. That's humanity. Now bending in humans is a little bit different than what we've seen thus far, considering that all 4 bending elements can be found within the human species. Presumably all sky bison are airbenders. All dragons are firebenders. All badger moles are earthbenders. And all the koi fish are waterbenders. Another big difference between humanity and these other animals is that non-bending is extremely common within the human species. I think it would occur in the animals as well, but the non-benders born would be outcompeted by their bending siblings and they wouldn't be able to reproduce. Both of these differences, I think, can be explained by humanity's above-average intelligence and humanity's ability to adapt to almost any environment in the world. This would explain why the 4 elements are so prevalent within the human species and why non-benders are also so successful. Just to be clear, I'm not saying that no non-benders would ever be born to these animals' populations, or that they would never develop other elements. Just that if it did happen, they would be much less likely to succeed than humanity. Humans make the 5th species that we've looked at, and up next is the only other animal that shares higher intelligence with humanity.
A lion turtle.
In the final episode of the series, we get this.
In the era before the Avatar, we bent not the elements, but the energy within ourselves.
So they used to bend energy. That means they're benders, right? Unfortunately, The Last Airbender doesn't actually answer this question, But in the sequel series, The Legend of Korra, we get this.
The legends are true. Another lion turtle city. And it's flying.
That's airbending, right? I mean, that's the only conceivable way that that kind of creature could fly. This guy definitely looks like he's earthbending. This is a waterbending turtle. And this is the turtle that gave him fire to begin with. The original Avatar being granted the powers from the turtles has led much of the fandom to think that the lion turtles are the original source of bending in the whole universe. Personally, I don't subscribe to this theory for a couple of reasons. First of all, if the lion turtles are the source of bending in humanity, then what about all the other species we've spoken about? How did the first sky bison get airbending? Did a lion turtle mosey on by and be like, I like your style, dude. Here's some airbending. Ooh, look at this dragon. You know what make this dragon real cool? Firebender. Come here, boy. I got you. Oh, look at this badger mole. You know what make this... You know what really make this species pop? Here's some earthbending. And second, if the lion turtles are the original benders, then how did they get bending to begin with? You know? What's the source of bending for the source of bending? Personally, I think it makes a lot more sense that bending is a natural phenomenon in this world that would evolve separately many different times across the Tree of Life. And lion turtles, being the oldest, wisest, and most spiritually in tune creatures on that tree, would be able to share their wisdom with other creatures. And I think that's precisely what's happening when you see a lion turtle do something like this. Or something like this. Through touching your chakras, they are using energy bending to unlock your chi and give you the wisdom that you need to use the power. But what is energy bending? I think energy bending is the heart and soul of the magic in this universe, and that the four elements are simply different facets of the same whole. Or as Guru Pathik said, the lion turtles bring us to 6 different species that can bend, and if it happened that many times separately in the Tree of Life, then it stands to reason that it would happen more than that. There'd be other instances that have yet to be discovered. That's right, I'm talking about other animals in the world that would be able to bend that aren't in the show. This is something the showrunners had to have considered based on this joke right here.
I'll show you who's boss. Earthbending style. I said earthbending style.
That lemur. He's earthbending.
No, you idiot. It's the girl.
Oh, of course.
Yes, it's a joke, but at the heart of the joke, the premise of the joke, is that this creature is an earthbender. Come on. My point is that it definitely came up in the writer's room. But instead of answering the question, they just gave us a vague joke about it. It looks like we have 2 options. Either the species we've seen thus far are the only ones capable of bending in this world, or they're not the only ones. And if they are, why? Why would it stop at just 5 or 6 different species that could bend? And if they aren't the only ones capable of bending, well, what other species could there be? The Last Airbender has a couple other animals that could potentially be benders. One is the Unagi. This definitely looks like waterbending to me. The koi fish make a much better fit for the original waterbenders, but the unagi could just be another waterbender, and that supports my idea that there would be dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of other species that could bend. Bending would give species a tremendous evolutionary advantage, so much so that they would almost certainly grow to dominate every single ecological niche that there is. Another potential bender from The Last Airbender are these guys.
What? No, don't leave, frogs. My friends are sick and they need you. Please go back to being frozen.
These flowers are growing unusually close to this pit of lava. This sand shark seems to swim through the sand pretty easily. In summary, I think that bending is a naturally occurring phenomenon that would evolve separately several different times across the tree of life. The koi fish are the original waterbenders. The lion turtles are not the source of bending, but they helped guide humans along their evolutionary path, and that energy bending is the umbrella that all bending subsets fit under. The franchise is an absolute joy to watch with this kind of evolutionary perspective. It's just super fun to imagine all the different ways that animals could utilize bending to their advantage. Well, what do you think? Do you think there are other species that can bend? Do you think the koi fish are the original waterbenders, or am I just barking up the wrong tree here? Let me know down in the comments what you think. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit a like, and if you want to see more Avatar nerd stuff, be sure to hit that subscribe. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a good one. Till next time, peace! This video is brought to you by my Twitch channel, where I play mainly Rocket League. I host 1v1 hoops tournaments every day that I call Mangy's Ballroom. If you want to come hang out and get your game on, follow me on Twitch. Feel free to join the Discord. Oh, I got a creator code now, guys. At Mangy Bum. When you buy something, how's it work? When you buy credits, type in Mangy Bum.